Tonight on Eric A. Cinotti Unplugged, where we cut through the noise and get real about resilience, mental toughness, and personal responsibility. Tonight, again, as always, if you are watching on your TV screen, but the ticker below has the topic of the day, as well as our guest and the guest information, as well as all the contact information for the show. If you'd like to reach me on the show, you can get me at eric@thehostilezone.com or The Hostile Zone at bbstalkradio.com or eric@ericandrewcinotti.com. Again, if it's on the ticker, there's your information. If it's not on your screen and not on your cable, demand it because we're on a lot of the stations. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about something that truly hits home for me. I know that it hits home for many, many millions of veterans and military families around the globe, transitioning from hardship to hope and turning adversity into action. Talk briefly about that in itself is true resilience. And this is a topic that means so much to so many people. This is a program, and we bring a lot of programs on both of my shows. If you're a fan of the Hostile Zone, that airs Monday nights and Unplugged Thursday nights, you'll see that we like to promote community programming. We like to educate the public about what services are out there and what people like our guest tonight have putting in tireless hours to make a difference in the community, and they need to be recognized. So tonight we'll be having Chris Switch, air quoting here, Switch Roness. I might have pronounced that wrong. I'm sure he'll beat me up when he gets on. He is a retired U.S. Air Force colonel, and he is a veteran advocate and the founder of UMATR, and the MATR is all capital with periods in between, and we'll let him explain what that means. A human performance system built to transform lives through military tested strategies for true success. His mission is very clear, very clear. It can't be more paramount to what we're experiencing now. Prevent crisis before a crisis begins. What a unique concept. If only all our politicians did that, maybe we might not need programs like this. But it is a very valiant effort of his. He's fighting hard for the people, and I truly stand behind him. We're going to uncover what makes UMATR unique and how the neuroscience, and I like a little bit of, dorky education in here, so let's go with it. Neuroscience and military aviation principles merge. You marry them together, and why the ability to tell your own story. Telling your story. What a paramount idea. This guy already, before we get him on here, way advanced than other people. Stopping a problem before it becomes a problem and allowing people to tell their story. What a unique concept. It shouldn't be all that unique, but unfortunately it is unique, and we applaud him. And we're talking about taking your toolbox and building a survival skill that will have you a better person today and a better person tomorrow for you, your family, and everybody you come into contact with. So let's break it down. Carrie, can we bring in Switch? Can we bring him in, Chris?
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Good. We don't have him on the screen yet. There he is. How are you?
What's going on?
Good. Welcome to the show, Chris. Thank you so much. So, you want me to call you Switch or Chris?
Switch is fine. Chris, either one. I respond better to Switch because that was my name.
So, since you're here, before we even get into the other fun stuff, tell us a little bit about you. Take as much time as you need and tell us why they call you Switch. I think it's great.
Hey, man, I grew up in a small town in Wyoming called Newcastle. One of the sports that we did there was wrestling, football, track, all the things. And just a small town guy in the days before the internet with a dream to join the Air Force and become a pilot. Wow. And that was a long road full of struggles trying to pursue that goal.
But you made it.
I made it. It only took 10 years. Took 10 years to figure it out.
I asked, what did you fly? May I ask? Or is that
No, I flew an aircraft called the HH-60G Pave Hawk. The mission that aircraft does is called combat search and rescue, or the larger venue of what's called personnel recovery.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that the PJ program?
Yeah, I was kind of like the glorified taxi cab driver for the PJs.
Yeah, but it's part of Special Operations Command, right?
Well, depends on what era you're talking about, but yes.
Right. For the folks that don't know what a PJ is, can you explain that? Because we see it as Special Operations and all the heavy stuff that they go through. And I believe people watched Combat Rescue, which was on a network that this show airs on. So I think we can talk about Combat Rescue.
Yeah, that's right. So, if you saw that show, if you haven't seen that show, go check it out. It does a pretty good job of
Leroy Jenkins, right?
Yeah, Leroy Jenkins. That's right. Yeah,
That is my alarm in the morning. I swear to God, I'm not making it up. I could play it right now. I love it.
Yeah, that was our scramble alarm for alerts. when we're on
Scramble,
alert.
scramble, scramble, right?
Yeah,
That was a great
exactly.
show.
Yeah.
That was running at the same time when they had the Bomb Squad show on the
Oh,
same
yeah.
network. And they were in Afghanistan. So, tell us, Switch. Why are you Switch?
So let me answer your previous question first. PJ, pararescuemen, they are the absolutely special operators. Their whole job is at the end of the day to be a subject matter expert that can go into any contested environment and recover anybody from a downed air crewman to someone who got rolled up in a convoy to you name it in a combat environment, but also a civil environment,
Right.
just civil search and rescue. And they're the ones that will save that person's life until they can get them to bright lights and cold steel where they can see a surgeon. And they're incredible tacticians.
Amazing. Yeah.
It takes years for them to get to that caliber. And they are absolutely some of the best people I've ever been
Best and
privileged
brightest.
Yeah.
Well capable. And I want to add a caveat to that. Combat controllers in the Air Force fall in that same special operations Air Force. I want to just give them due respect. You want to tell folks what that is too, quickly?
Combat controllers and attack Ps, they're the ones that will bring in what are called calls for fire, where they're coordinating an orchestrated attack with anything from bombers to fighters to you name it to neutralize a threat so that we can affect whatever mission we have right there, whether that's pulling somebody out or getting after the bad guy.
So we're going to break into some questions, but you have a great story. So we have time to answer the questions, and let's just go get a little back and forth on it. So the key to your program. First, say the name again and explain the letters and why they are that way. I wanted to leave that for you.
Yeah, I'll show you this little card. This is something I give all our veterans.
Very nice.
MATR really is you matter. Matter, MATR is an acronym that we use in Air Force aviation when things are going really bad, man. The engines are on fire, the wings are falling off, and it's what we use to stay calm in those situations. We train to it all the time, and we rehearse it all the time so that when, not if, those crises come for us, we're prepared.
When is very correct. When, yes.
Yeah. And so all I did was I took that checklist and I adapted it to life, actual life, and I teach that to people because one of the things I learned in my studies of suicide prevention, 2 years studied this problem in depth, is that there was a couple studies. There's an Australian study and a Harvard study, but basically their numbers are around the same. Between 24 to 40% of people that make that decision and act on it, they make that decision and act on it in a 5-minute period.
Yes. And that's why I'm glad you're on the show, because it's a passion of mine. I do a lot of volunteering and donating to these programs. Now, in my opening monologue, I mentioned neuroscience. So because you are an aviator, a pilot, you're a fighter, a war fighter, and an academic and a scientist. A little bit of everything. So I get where you're coming from. Muscle memory in the brain. So explain how that translates and how you bring it to here.
Okay, so it's all repetition, right? The reason why the matter checklist is for that person in that 5-minute window. They have to be their own hero.
Right.
Everything we teach is to intervene that, and you may or may not be someone who's fortunate enough to be able to do that. It all comes down to what? Repetition is the key to learning, right? So before that, even the biggest thing, Eric, is it really comes down to identifying really what the problem is,
right?
And then going back and using those aviation tools and teaching people how through repetition to do different guided critical thinking so that they can either avoid those problems that could lead to crisis altogether, or have a built-in planned response for it so that when, not if it happens, they're ready, because they not only built that plan themselves, they rehearsed it.
What I want to do, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back from the commercial break, folks, don't go anywhere. You're going to tell us what acronym actually stands for.
Yeah.
Okay? Folks, don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. Otherwise, he's getting in a plane, and we're going to search and rescue you.
What about turning your spare change into serious investments? Let me introduce you to Acorns. This app makes investing as simple as one easy swipe of your credit or debit card. With Acorns, every purchase you make rounds up and invest the difference. Watch your future grow one swipe at a time. Start small, dream big. With Acorns, every bit adds up to something significant. Download Acorns today. Acorns.com/share, or use your smartphone camera and scan the QR code on the screen, or enter my referral code 56XJQPC. Again, referral code 56XJQPC, and get $5 for free compliments of me to start investing today just by downloading the app. Download Acorns now. I'm Eric A. Cinotti, the host of the syndicated radio TV talk show, The Hostile Zone, right here on iHeartRadio.
Welcome back. Good thing I didn't want to switch it up and send Switch to come rescue you. We're back with Chris Switch, and how do I say your last name? I
It's
don't know.
pronounced Roness. It's Norwegian.
Yeah, so I had it right the first time.
You
That's
did.
what
It
I
runs a bonus, Eric, just not spelled the same.
You got me. Now you're coming right for the heart, bro. Coming right for the heart. If I get a bonus, then we write it. Then we write a check to your 501.
You giddy up, yeah.
So all right. So now we're back for the commercial. Tell the folks what the matter stands for in military side and in how you incorporate it.
Also, M, maintain control. Military side, that means keep flying the aircraft, right? How that translates to what you're doing in your life is, look, no fast hands. Don't do anything irreversible. Stay calm. Don't self-medicate. Stop. Take a deep breath. This is where I'll teach different breathing techniques, things like that, right? But the whole point is to just pause. That's maintain control, right? A, analyze the situation. In the aircraft, you're looking at all the gauges and all the lights to see what they're telling you about what's going wrong with your aircraft. But that might not be true. You might see a big red light that says there's a fire in the engine, but you need to confirm that. Hey, flight engineer, look out the back. Do you see smoke coming out the engine? Are there flames? What's going on? So in life, analyze the situation or, hey, what are the facts? All too often when something goes wrong in your life, Eric, you tend to go down this path of, well, now that this happened, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to impact this, it's going to people get in a really dark place.
And it gets deep in fast and real fast in a hurry, right? Quick, fast in a hurry. And it's very hard to recover from that.
And I spend a lot of time with people in this space when they're in crisis already. We just stop and we go, hey, what are the facts? Let's just talk about the facts right now. And that inevitably calms them right down when they start really thinking about the actual problem.
I mean, to me, I see what you're saying. It makes you see the entire macro, not the micro. Look at the macro and work your way into the micro, right? Am I getting your neuroscience on that?
Well,
macro, break it down and find out what way you need to channel your thought.
Yeah, what's the most immediate, urgent problem right now that you have to address?
Macro to micro. What's everything happening? What I need to micro to?
That's right. Yep. T, take an immediate action. In the aircraft, that might be what's called a boldface procedure or an immediate action plan. Boldface are like very short, concise, brevity words that you memorize because you've rehearsed them over and over and over again. For example, I can tell you what the ejection sequence is or what the boldface is for an ejection of a T-37 aircraft, which I haven't flown in over 20 years because it's been sitting in the boneyard at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base.
Isn't it crazy? I know what that is. That's the training, the fighters that you guys train on.
That's right. So the ejection sequence on that is hand grips raise, trigger squeeze. And how do I remember that 20 years later? Because I wrote it 5 billion times in all caps in boldface letters. That's why.
And you prayed you never had to use it.
Yeah. And so take immediate action is where you would begin to apply any plans that you would create these for yourself. But also the single most important thing in take immediate action is a little bit different. And this is what I call contacting your lifeguard.
Okay.
Lifeguards is the single most important thing that we teach. That's just your social connection, your confidants, your trusted agents. And in the military,
your battle buddy, right?
Yeah. But that's the trick.
Whatever it is.
That's the trick. When you become a veteran, man, you lose that. You lose your team, your tools, your identity, your purpose, yourself, your way.
You hit the nail on the head, Sway.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head.
And every veteran,
they're part of anything anymore.
That's right. And every veteran knows that.
And there's not even a lot of camaraderie a lot of times. There's so many people angry with the service they're getting. They're not getting this or not getting that. So you lose it. Right. So you're trying to bring all that back. That's good.
Well, so that's what I do. My system reconnects them to their team of trusted confidants. And then through the aviation lessons learned, I give them the tools they need to do guided critical thinking to plan for when, not if, struggle can come for you. And then how to be your own hero in that darkest hour is this matter checklist, right?
That's wonderful.
So one of the things I teach is, the people that you care about, that you met in the military, that were your friends from your hometown, that are family or whatever, you still know them. You just
you're dialed in. You know them, but you're not dialed in anymore.
Yeah, you're not connected. So I teach them how to connect. I use an app called Marco Polo. It's a free app. It's a video. Marco Polo.
Like literally Marco Polo?
Yeah, like MarcoPolo. It's a free app people can get. It's literally just a video messaging app. You leave a message when and where you're at. They get it when and where they're at, but it's American-owned company. They have a Bill of Rights, dude, that says we will never push an algorithm on you. We'll never push an ad on you. We don't download your videos. It is their business model is for you to have that safe place to connect to the people you care about the most. It's phenomenal. So
and now and encrypted too.
Yeah, all that. Like they don't
worry about hacking, because I would hate to see. You hear this stuff where people are telling people to do negative things, like the AI was telling some kid to commit suicide. We talked about that. I would hate to see somebody getting into this app and taking advantage of vulnerable people.
It would be hard to do.
It's military reasons too,
Yeah, it's very secure, but that's the cool thing about it. It's more authentic than a text. Hey, you good? All guys in the world. Yeah, I'm good. Right?
No, who's going to say no? Right.
Yeah, right. But on video, the dude says, yeah, I'm good. But meanwhile, there's a bunch of booze bottles in the back. Dishes are piled up. Are you really good?
Right.
So it's really powerful because it's also way more convenient than trying to schedule something like this or a Zoom call or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of logistics right here.
Yeah.
Getting this going.
So you can build a group in there. And anyway, that's what T is take immediate action. You contact your lifeguards and you tell them. Part of analyzing the situation is writing down those facts. You might be so emotionally upset you can hardly concentrate. But if you wrote down the facts, you can just leave your friends a message. Hey, this is what's going on. I'm not sure what to do. Help me out. Usually what happens is they become the logical brain for you while you're in that emotional moment, especially if you shared those plans with them. And they're like, hey, dude, you built a plan. We got you. Right. And that is R. R is refer to your plan. In aviation, it's refer to your checklist. And that's what the checklist is designed to do, built off of many, many lessons learned the hard way. Here's what to do in this situation. Here's your checklist. I just translated that to refer to the plan that you built and then execute your plan. And even if your plan isn't exactly the way you saw it going, at least you have something to deviate from as opposed to being.
And you're not alone.
Yeah.
And you're not alone. You don't feel like. So let me ask you a question. It's not one of the ones we were talking, but it's a follow up on this. Are there team leaders in, like you make them like little units or teams or task force or anything? The little groups?
No, man, they do it all on their own. They take my course. I teach my course to military bases across the Department of Defense. I provide it to the VA. And then for those nonprofits that are helping those veterans who are really having a hard time out on the streets, homeless, jobless, that's who I'm really trying to help. Right. But they're not in that cognitive space to learn this stuff. So I donate those programs to those nonprofits helping those veterans get off the street with only the condition that they're not allowed to leave their care until they've completed the course. And it's an online course that they take.
Okay. I think we're going to get into that and more the specificity of that.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this since November of 2021.
Okay. What inspired you to do this? Obviously, I know why, but tell the folks why. I mean, it's clear to me why, but not everybody sees like you and I.
Well, it started actually for me back in 2016. That year, I lost 6 good friends to veteran suicide in a 4-month period.
Wow. And is it still 22 a day? Or I heard it went up.
Well, there's different numbers you can look at. Some as high as 40. It just depends
on how
it just depends on how they mark or classify suicide, right?
Overdoses don't count, right, as a suicide.
Yeah. Driving your car drunk off the cliff doesn't count. That's just a drunk driving accident, but we all know that there's...
We all know what, You think the person never had a history of any of this previous, and now all of a sudden they do.
But make no mistake, man, I want to say something here really important.
Do it. It's yours. All yours.
So a lot of America hears about 22 a day, and they think, oh, those poor veterans. And man, don't think that. Because you know what? Veterans are the most capable people out there.
Resilient.
Case in point, our newest vice president-elect is a veteran, former Marine, right? Once a Marine, always Marine. And if you look around, there are tons of veterans doing amazing things, whether that's doing startup companies, running multi-million-dollar companies, running for office, doing all kinds of things. So don't think poor veterans.
Right. No, nobody wants a pity party.
Well, and veterans are strong horses. The trick is they've done this transition into literally a new culture, right? Without anything. They lost everything. Like we talked about, their team, their tools, their purpose. Imagine if somebody grabbed you right now and put you in some new land and took away all your clothes and gave you clothes to wear and helped you assimilate to that strange new land, and you made all kinds of new friends there, and then they ripped you out of that and put you right back where you were after that's what you knew for 10, 20 years, and you had nothing. Go.
It's very similar to like when somebody comes out of prison and they want to get a new life, right?
Yeah.
And what do? We put them right back to what got them there in the first place, and they provide no follow-up. It's very similar, except the group we're dealing with are people that truly deserve that and are entitled that situation that you have.
Well, and other elite organizations too. Take any pro sports athletic player. Pick your sport: basketball, baseball, football. Doesn't matter. At some point in time, that career ends for them, right? And they lost the same thing. They lost their entire community. They're just off you go, and they struggle with the same type of transition.
I mean, as a veteran myself, I understand. You long for the uniform again. You long to have that identity. That flag on your arm is true. Your identity is green. Right? Then you're back into the game and you don't know where to go. What other services do you provide besides, like for transitioning process? Because I guess segue to my question was, why is it so difficult for veterans to adjust? Which you kind of answered, so I didn't have to answer.
Well, no, I didn't really answer it.
But you were saying that they lose their stuff, but I mean, it's more complex than that. So
it is, but here's the thing. When they're active duty, they don't know that's going to happen. You know it, and I know it because we went through this transition period.
Good point. Very, very pivotal point. I like that. You're right. We don't think you think forever you're going to be in this uniform. How many do you have in your closet that you can't even take out? I have a closet with uniform.
Yeah, the whole closet's full, man.
and you check on it, you clean it out, right?
Yeah. You're like, I remember when So the thing is this, the DoD has mandated that every service member has to participate in what's called TAP, Transition Assistance Program. And It's a good program. Could it be better? Sure. Has it come a long way? Yes. You talk to veterans from even Gulf War time frame, and they're jaded. They're like, man, I didn't get any of that. And even once you've seen one TAP program, you've seen one TAP program. They're all a little bit different flavor based off of the people that are teaching it, right? But there's the basic core of what they have to teach. But here's the trick. When you join the military, depending upon your branch of service, it took you anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to assimilate into the service. They took everything. They took your identity, shaved your head, gave you a uniform, all that, right? They give you 1 week to transition out. 1 week.
Very, very, another good point. I like how you bring the scholarly academic stats in here. I like that because it's very true. And then people who are active duty are on a base. The everybody's got to move, right? And they got to find a new place to go. There's not a lot of warning for that. How about your Reserve and National Guard people that are continuously, it's funny because you're talking all wonderful things, but people forget about the Reserve and the National Guard, and especially post 9/11 people spending half of your National Guard and Reserve time on active duty. And then when you come off a deployment, you go back home. You don't even have a unit at all, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you go back to small town America and you don't have the support that even those folks have. There is a flip side, though. You still have a community that you grew up in and the people you know. Yes. So there's a strength there, and Guard and Reserve do have that going for them. But you're right. As soon as the unit comes back, everybody's gone to the winds, and the leadership has no idea how those people are doing as individuals, right?
Right. There's nobody. They don't even tell you when you come back for a deployment and you're Guard or Reserve, you're automatically a veteran status, because when they come off of active duty, you get a DD-214 or an NGB-22 if you're National Guard back as an M-Day soldier or cell res. And your Air Force, Guard and Reserve. You know what I'm talking about. Cell res, folks, is the Navy Reserve and the Air Force Reserve and the Army Reserve. And then M-Day is the Air National Guard and Army National Guard. Those are your traditional weekend warrior. So when they come off of a deployment, they're mixed in with active duty folks, and they get a DD-214 or an NGB-22 form. And you're entitled veterans benefits as a combat veteran immediately, but who's telling them that?
And that's something too, full transparency for the transition program for active duty, right, is they did recognize that they had a problem there. And so one of the things that they enacted is called Skill Bridge.
Yes.
And Skill Bridge is phenomenal, but at the end of the day, TAP is still missing the mark on something. And what they haven't realized yet, and again, I can't badmouth it. It's a great program. Skill Bridge is where you get up to 180 days to go work for a civilian employee that's a part of the official DoD skill bridge program. They have to go through a process to be vetted and prove that they're what they are. And you put together a whole syllabus basically of what you're going to do while you're with them and what you're going to learn and what your workload is. And the idea is to enable that veteran to transition into that civilian life, preferably getting a job at that place.
That is same employer. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of like the VA Voc Rehab, Chapter 31.
Yeah.
Where they have the non-paid work and they put you in where they pay you and the employer gets, right? Is that similar to what you're talking about?
Yeah, similar. And the other thing that TAP does is they have a couple different tracks, right? They have the go do the employment track. They have the go do learn how to be an entrepreneur, boots to business track.
Really?
Right? And there's an education track. And those are all great. But those are all intended at the end of the day, the outcome of all three of those things is only intended to do one thing for you. And that's help you find employment beyond your time in the military. And that is it. And man, you could be the smartest dude on the planet as a military guy. You can have your A game ready to go. You can have your, 6-figure job lined up on the outside, ready to go before any of that stuff happens. You followed your checklist. You're ready. Your game is on. Right. But you know what you missed? You missed the fact that you're leaving your team because you didn't know and nobody told you. I mean, you kind of knew it, but you didn't realize.
You never ever think your career is done. You sign up. No one really signs up. I'm going to do it for 4 years, right? Except the people that were 9/11 and like, oh no, don't deploy me. I signed up for free college. That's a whole other episode we could do on that one. I remember after 9/11, like 4 years after 9/11, people were still crying when they were deploying. What did re-enlist after 9/11? You did know this. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's good.
I wanted to pivot back to something you said. I wrote down on a note.
All right.
You ever see the movie Home of the Brave with Jessica Biel?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
You heard the news, sir?
What news is that?
We're headed out in 2 weeks, sir.
Hey, sweetheart. Yeah, I'm coming home.
Hey, you know the first thing I'm gonna do when I get home?
Buy a house, fix it up. Something good.
Yeah, baby!
Guys, gather around. Change your plans for today. We're escorting a convoy of medical supplies and a doctor to Al Haig.
It's your first time outside the wire, specialist?
Yes, sir.
You'll be all right. It's humanitarian runs, man. I don't like them. We're always putting ourselves in danger.
Come on, get going. Load up the vehicle. Let's go!
Back up! There's that moment when you realize you can't help someone. Then you feel the heartbreak. This is when all the soldiers wanted. They need you fought hard.
You look so grown up. Can you say hi to mommy?
I would like to know what happened to you.
Stay with me. Stay with me. When you treat a patient, you're supposed to feel something. Well, I don't feel anything. Stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Shoot us like over there!
Are you against the war in principle or because I was part of it?
Both.
Been in there for about an hour. Kept asking for you.
Come on, man. You don't want to do this.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I can hold my kid, and I really try to remember that. I love you so much, babe.
Space between our wicked lies is where we hope to keep safe from pain. Take my hand, 'cause we're walking out.
Check it out, Home of the Brave. It literally follows a National Guard unit. I want to say somewhere in Iraq, not Fallujah, but somewhere in Iraq. They come back to Washington State, and they're a National Guard unit, and they show each type of veteran suicide by police. The whole thing, great movie. Very emotional. It's a little, fluffy, with the war scene, but it explains every section of what you're talking about. That's why I wanted to ask if you saw it. It's definitely a good check out.
Yeah, that's solid, man. I will check that out. And that the transitioning piece that we were talking about of those guys losing their team, an easier analogy, especially for any veterans or active duty military listening to this, but especially anybody from the VA that might be listening to us, is
We get a lot.
okay. Well, here's a breakdown in our current process, but it's an opportunity ripe to help veterans, and it's so simple. Simple, but it's simple, but it's not easy, right? It won't be easy to do, but it's simple. When you join the military, you go to basic training. After that, wherever you go from there, you get 3 things. 1, boom, you get a set of orders and your travel tickets, and you know where you're supposed to go. Some services have where you get a sponsor, a person that's there that you can contact ahead of time. They're gonna help you get your, if you're brand new, they're gonna help you get your dorm set up. If you're married, they're gonna help you find housing. If you're overseas, they're gonna help you receive your car, ship your car, all those things, right? They're there to be your point of contact. It's usually somebody in the unit you're going to, probably even in the office space or, specialized, specialty that you have.
Right.
But besides that, you're going to get a checklist when you get to that new base that says, here's all the places you got to go and the stuff
to report to get signed off,
to get in processed, right? And you're going to get a map that says, here's where all those things are.
Right. And they give you a couple of days to do this. I remember it was area familiarization.
That's right.
Especially when you're in overseas deployment. We did a lot of area fams. You had a week to go all your spots on your checklist and then your area fam. Then you start to gear into the job.
Yeah. And a lot of them do, like, they've gotten wise to this, right? And they'll even do kind of a standardized, regular, recurring briefing, right? Where they bring all the new arrivals in, no matter where they came from, to this one area to go, hey, here's all the stuff about the local area to know about. Hey, everybody has to go see finance. Everybody has to go see these people at personnel.
Yeah, everybody goes to see my pay.
Yeah. Turn all your paperwork in here, right there's briefing, and we'll take care of these things for you, right? And so they've figured that out, and it's really good.
Let me ask you a question. Switch. Oh, good. You had something else to say?
Well, I was just going to finish the thought.
Okay, finish the thought. I saw you take a breath. I wasn't sure if you were stopping.
The reverse happens. The reverse happens when you leave the installation, right? You don't really need the map anymore, but you still get a checklist. Yeah, you still get a checklist of all the people you need to go see, right? And you out process.
Right.
When you leave the service, whether that's separation or retirement or whatever, when your time is up, your contract is over, and you leave, you follow that same process.
Right.
But guess what? There's nowhere for you to sign into again. There's no checklist.
No one. You're not handing that checklist to anybody. They should require you to show up at the VA.
Yeah, but
within 72 hours or something like that.
So the VA does. Yeah, the VA does some stuff. You get some emails of a lot of resources and things to do, and here's the places that you can go, and here's. But wouldn't it be great if the VA was able to have a similar type of in-processing function where monthly, whatever it is, all the new people that came to that area, because they're getting the addresses, they know you're coming there.
Right. You know what? It's funny.
Here's all the local VSOs. Here's all the American Legion Foreign.
VSO, Veteran Service Officers, for the folks out there that don't know.
Yeah. So here's your American Legion, your VFW, your Disabled American Veterans. Here's all these organizations. Here's all the local nonprofit veteran-supported organizations. And here's your actual VSO people that if you were filing your claims and you weren't able to complete it before you left, those are the guys you need to go talk to right now. And by the way, here's Bob. Bob and you have a couple things in common, and he lives in this area too, even though you never met. He's going to be your sponsor.
Right. And it's funny. What I think is what you're doing is great. Maybe you're doing this. I see, like when you're coming in and you get that briefing, right? And you're saying you're not getting on the way up. What if the guys, there's always rotating in and rotating out. There's a pass by. They're passing each other. Why can't the outgoers on the newcomer say, okay, you're going to experience all this stuff because you're going to be the outgoer eventually. And you kind of pass it. Was it pay it forward?
Pay it forward.
You know what I mean? You goes, hey, you were in this guy's spot, this girl's spot, soldier spot coming in, and here you're coming out. I think that would be extremely valuable. And I think what you're saying with the VA would be really valuable. And they have a whole volunteer program at the VA. Is this something you've talked to them about, Chris? Switch?
Sort of. I was a part of a program that the U.S. Air Force put together underneath the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force and Chief Master Sergeant of the Space Force at the time, which was Chief Joanne Bass and Chief Toberman. And they were getting after the mental health problem in the U.S. Air Force. And this was one of the things that came out of it. So they had me and a couple other folks be the co-chairs for the retiree veterans group. And this was something that we presented. And they really liked it, and they planned on handing it across the channels over to the VA. I just don't know if it ever happened before she was able to leave that post, but they did a lot of amazing stuff in the program.
That would be great. I remember one of my deployments. I came in and out of Fort Dix, New Jersey, which is now Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst. All the good stuff is at Fort Dix. You're aware of that, I'm sure. When we came back, one deployment, there was the VFW because they knew they were going to get fresh because not many people qualify for VFW, right? So they were out there giving out a free year membership. So at Fort, you was like, hey, it's free. Stop. You get your 1 year membership. I ended up buying a lifetime membership after that. It worked out for everybody, and they did link you up, and they were set up at the exchange. Which folks out there, you don't know what the exchange. It's like the little mall where all the food and they buy clothes and stuff on base. That would be great. Do you ever get to set up at those? Something like that. A place for you to be when they come back at the deployment, be set up at the exchange with a little table.
That's a great idea. I haven't actually pursued that idea. I've just been going direct to the organizations that manage resiliency and human performance at the bases and just hitting them right there in the jugular.
Let me ask you with and I don't want we don't get even though it's political, we don't get political. I don't ever I don't allow anybody to badmouth any president on here. We don't pick presidents when that's not my question. But in this past administration, have you found them to be openly welcoming to your program, or is there a little standoffish because then you're admitting there's a problem? And that's what I see, that people don't want to admit there's a problem. And when they allow you to come in and they say, okay, I support this, you're saying, well, maybe there is a problem.
I don't know about the administration because I was still serving 2 years into that administration when I retired. What I can tell you is the difference of when I transitioned out and began trying to pursue getting this to the Department of Defense and the VA is that it is a real barrier in general to cut through the bureaucracy to get after it.
Wow.
And the biggest challenge I have is that, bureaucracy is really good at using buzzwords and keywords, and those are the words they want to see. And the big buzzwords that the VA is getting after right now is suicide prevention, right?
Right.
And that is great. You're not ever going to hear me talk about suicide prevention because, frankly, as important as it is, as many as organizations that are doing that, they're all doing it and they're all laser focused on suicide prevention, but they're actually missing the problem. Because here's the thing about suicide. For those people that make that decision and act on it, Eric, they're doing it because that is the only solution they can come up with to solve all the problems. Whether
I always say bring it back to basics. You got to go back to basic, waking up and focusing, like you're saying, on something razor sharp. What you're going to do, and that's an easy way out. And they, like you said, there's nobody providing other options.
Well, again, I don't want to take it. There are a lot of amazing organizations really.
We're not saying that, but I mean, like you got to wrap around all of these people. There's a lot of them. Very hard.
Well, what I'm saying is it's more of a holistic problem. Yes, do we need suicide prevention? You better believe it. Yeah. Absolutely need to have that. But
you never get that far enough.
But there's more to this. And that's what I teach is the human performance piece of it. At the end of the day, what I teach is called suicide avoidance in essence, because what I'm doing is teaching anybody. It's for anybody. Everybody can learn this, but not anybody wants to.
And anybody can be a hero learning this and recognize a sign that would have never otherwise recognized but for your program.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I just teach veterans how to live a life so full of connection and meaning that they just don't ever want it to end.
That's good. You segued right into what I wanted to say, but two things. One, are you linked up with Military One Source?
Not directly, no, because again, they're all focused on suicide prevention.
Right. Yeah.
This is the challenge I'm having is this language barrier.
Well, if they're listening, Military One Source, give your website and your contact information. Maybe they'll reach out to you. Put it out for the listeners.
Yeah. Military One Source is an incredible resource.
And give them your information for the people in the car listening. Say it out again, your website, your name, and whatever.
So the website is youmatter, youmatter.org, youmatter.org.
Wonderful.
There's a free 30-minute class on there that anybody can go watch right now and actually walk away better for having done it.
Wonderful. It's simply amazing. Now I want to ask you, can you give us, because you're talking about how it works, can you give us an example of one situation you dealt with where you did the matter and you had a wonderful outcome that you're proud of?
Oh, man.
Just everybody's listening. The VA is going to hear you. We have a lot of people that watch this, and I get lots of downloads afterward.
Yeah, this is just one, huh? Okay. Well, I'll tell you one of a guy that, again, in that hardest space, the guy that I'm trying to help the most, the guy or gal I'm trying to help the most, 18 to 28 years old, homeless, jobless, self-medicating, got a cricket phone. They're limping along on a monthly plan with a cracked screen.
Wow. Yeah,
can't exactly directly help that guy, but that is one of the guys I did directly help. In fact, it's been a year now This guy used my system. And one of the first things I have to tell him is, look, I can't help you unless you're willing to give up the things that are hurting you first.
Really?
And I can't want it more than you do.
Right.
Right.
It's about him.
And so this guy said, man, I really want to get past this. And so this was a guy I sat down in person and just said, you know what? You're here. You're a veteran here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And I'm here and I've got the time. And this is my passion. And I want to teach this to you if you're willing to learn. And so we sat down and we talked to him. And this guy really struggled with addiction. I mean, bad addiction problems.
What branch of service was he?
He was Coast Guard.
Really? And he had deployed. Okay.
Yeah. And he got out at a time when mental health wasn't really something we looked at. If a military member was having problems with alcohol, they just went straight down the UCMJ route to punish those guys and then boot them out.
And they gave a lot of the personality disorders who had TBI and PTSD. I remember there's a lot of people that having to redo RE codes and general discharges upgraded to honorable.
And that's where this guy was at. This guy was at where he had a less than honorable, wasn't been able to upgrade it. It's been
other than or what? Yeah,
well, we're working on that right now. We're working on his stuff right now. But he's now where he can be in the cognitive space to work on it. This guy over the course of the year got himself sobered up. He's got himself employment. He's going to the gym. He's hitting the church, all those things. And he told me actually just today, he goes, man, it's all your course. But to me, this was the big success story is I went to see this dude a while ago, right as he was finishing up his sobriety. Like he did a in-resident kind of 6-week deal.
Right.
And
okay.
I went
voluntarily, right?
Voluntarily. He went there voluntarily. I went to see him on his graduation day and just sat down to visit.
That alone in itself, I applaud you for. I do. I applaud you for that because that says a lot about your character.
I mean, if we're that serious about one life, then let's be that serious.
And you did it. And that's what you do. we got to take a break. We're not going anywhere. Folks, we're going to come right back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
At the Rembrandt Law Firm, we understand the importance of your constitutional rights. We truly care that we must get a client their desired result. If your freedom is compromised in any way, you call us. We do immigration, state and federal criminal defense, personal injury, bankruptcy, DWIs, family law, real estate law. We want you to be confident in our ability to represent you.
What about turning your spare change into serious investments? Let me introduce you to Acorns. This app makes investing as simple as one easy swipe of your credit or debit card. With Acorns, every purchase you make rounds up and invest the difference. Watch your future grow one swipe at a time. Start small, dream big. With Acorns, every bit adds up to something significant. Download Acorns today. Acorns.com/share or use your smartphone camera and scan the QR code on the screen or enter my referral code 56XJQPC. Again, referral code 56XJQPC and get $5 for free compliments of me to start investing today just by downloading the app. Download Acorns now. I'm Eric A. Cinotti, the host of the syndicated radio TV talk show, The Hostile Zone, right here on iHeartRadio.
Welcome back. I'm here with Chris Switch Roness. Go back to where you were. Tell them who you are, where you're from, and then we're going to get to that great success story.
All right. So Chris Roness, I'm out here in Spearfish, South Dakota in the Black Hills, teaching this system called You Matter to help veterans live a life so full of meaning and connection that they just don't want it to end in the first place. Now,
so before the break, you were telling a great success story. And again, I'm going to applaud you even after the break. You went to the guy's graduation from a sobriety inpatient, right?
Yeah.
That is so much because he knew he mattered and he was an individual, not a uniform. He was a person and you recognize that.
That's right.
So tell that story.
So I go to visit him and his energy's completely changed, right? This guy's super positive. He went from, I want my life to be over to, I can't wait to live, man. I can't wait to get out there and just make the most of life. He's telling me about ideas he has for building a business. And you know, one of the things I do on the side is I'm an ambassador for IVMF's Bunker Labs system where we teach military members and their spouses how to become entrepreneurs. So, we're going down that road. Well, in the middle of that conversation, he goes, hold on. He stands up and he goes over and he grabs 2 other veterans that I didn't even know were there. He did. He grabbed him, he brought him over. He goes, hey, I want to introduce you to Chris. He's going to show you something cool.
Wow.
And we just started teaching him You Matter right there. But this guy, Tom, starts kind of teaching him too, right?
Right.
And he's got the worksheets that I
You got yourself an employee now or volunteer. right.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just cool because he got that much value out of it that he wanted them to get it too. So he was delivering it himself. He went and printed out his worksheets and gave them copies.
Now
And so
this was that class that you said they can go look at on your website now.
yeah, they can go get it online right
And with
now.
the website, where is it on there when they go to your website? Say the web address again, and then when they get to the page, where do they find it?
Okay, so on the web address, which is youmatter, youmatter.org, there's step 1, which is a free class. And if you want the whole class, it's step 2. But take step 1, then take step 2.
Right, baby steps.
We sat there for an hour teaching these guys these things. And one of the guys was in such a bad way. He was just shaking. His hands were really rough. And he has an indefinite, unknown future. Like he has no idea. It's going to be either really bad or it's going to be not so bad. But he doesn't know until he gets through that program. And so we were able to just help him use that checklist and get back to, let's just focus on the facts and let's help you work on what you can work on right now. And he was already doing it. And so I just spent time applauding him. Like, dude, this guy was an Army veteran. I said, man, just you being here makes you a miracle, dude. And just recognize that you're a champion. And he looked at me really confused. I'm a champion? I don't feel like a champion, you know? And I said, dude, you're a champion. That's right. You're still here. That means you've mastered everything up to this point that has tried to stop you from living.
And you know what? Everything tries to stop you from living. And then your own brain tries to stop you when you got nowhere to go. I want to ask you, what is the research behind Robin Dunbar?
Robin Dunbar is he's something else, man. He's a British biological anthropologist. Like he studies evolutionary psychology and stuff. And he basically has studied sociology for like 40 years. And this guy has some numbers that he talks about when it comes to sociology, but he just knows how many people we can manage in our lives, basically, right? And Dunbar's greater known number is the Dunbar number, you'll hear it referenced, is 150. That's the most actual people you can manage knowing in your life. 150. Right. Beyond that,
have a meaningful knowing.
Yes, meaningful knowing. But he breaks that down into lesser, lower numbers. And the number that I really rely on heavily is Dunbar's first. Well, it's actually his second number. His first number is 1.5. He calls it your ego. That's really you and like a significant other, right? But the next major number he talks about that I really appreciate is 5. And 5 is the most like trusted, close-knit confidants you can actually manage in your life. 5. That includes
that's lifelong, and that's a lot. If you have 5, you are a very lucky person.
That's
I
right.
could say I got 2, maybe, that have that kind of significance.
Well, and this is the question I always ask everybody when I get to this point, Eric. I say, hey, how many trusted confidants do you have? And then I say, don't answer that. I'm going to tell you the answer. And they look at me perplexed.
Do you know the philosophy that military, but a lot in the intelligence world, the 3 U's? You have your public life that everybody sees, me right here talking to you.
Yep.
My personal life when I go into my house.
Yep.
Then I have my secret life.
Yep.
My secret life is my life that I never tell anybody. It's the things that we all have done, we think about, whatever, that's in that closet. It's the skeletons way in the back. And how many of those? That may be your top 5. Is that kind of the same thing? Like that?
It could be. I mean, they may not even know some of those things, right? But at the end of the day, the answer is you have 2 to 3.
Right.
I can tell you that with confidence because every study since the 1980s, that's what it's come out with. Now, there are early studies going on right now that are a little jaw-dropping that are indicating that current generation has about 0.6.
I was going to say losing that, right?
Yeah, 6 or less, right? But it has to do with how you socially connect and how we're all doing it is with social media.
Yeah, right. Even right now, I'm in a studio and this is still better than what they're doing.
That's right.
Generation today. And you're even in military operations, you got people flying drones from out by you that are flying in Afghanistan and everywhere else we are.
That's right.
They don't even recognize what's happening. And there's it's again compartmentalized now. Again, going back to the IC kind of concept. At what point do you uncompartmentalize and become part of a team?
That's
Not
it.
anymore, right?
That's it. And so that Dunbar number I use, 5 is like the goal. That's what I call your lifeguard. You're trying to get to 5. You may never get to that number. But if you have just 1, man, you got a major problem, right?
Yeah.
Because at some point in time, you could easily lose one, either just to natural life circumstances or adversity in a relationship or whatever it might be.
And then what happens when one gets married, children? You want to be the single guy or gal, and then the new mate doesn't want you hanging out.
One, you just kind of get
single and you can't, right?
That's right. And Dunbar shows all that in his studies. Like, hey, if you grew up in this small town, you go off to college, you will actually build kind of a new group of 5, right? And you'll still have connectivity to those friends that you grew up with. You can always pick up that conversation right where you left off, and that's how you know. But it's usually only going to be one of them. It won't be like everybody that you went to high school with, right? Even
You
if
know
you
what I
knew them
think?
all.
Let me know if you got any stats on this. Because of like Facebook and social media, nobody goes to high school reunions anymore, do they? I mean, I remember talking about that with people that I know, and they tried to have a reunion, nobody went because everybody already knows who everybody's doing and they're online, and they swear you think you know, right? And I have high school friends still. I have like 2 or 3 that I still talk to that I'm friends with, but other than that, the rest are on social media.
I think in a small town, you might see that more often than not. A, because a lot of those people still live there in that same
I think,
place, you know.
yeah,
But B, there is still, older generations, even guys in their 30s, still appreciate seeing in person those
right.
people, even if they've been following them on social media or whatever. Right? It's still something special about just
There is
reconnecting.
something about being able to reach out and shake your hand,
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
make that connection. Like there is something about that.
And that's the magic, Eric, to the second part of that question. When I asked you how many trusted confidants do you have, most people could say 2 to 3.
Yeah, right.
But the next question I ask them is the one that leaves them like jaw dropped, oh crap. And that is this: of the 2 to 3, do they know each other? And are they connected to each other through you, or do
Boom,
they just know you?
boom. You keep your circle tight and strong. Remember that saying back in the day?
Yeah.
They have to know each other because something goes wrong. So we got to wrap around our friend that's down as a
And that's the
team.
real trick for veterans, because our social circles are so vast and so different.
Right,
I have 1 or 2 good buddies from when I went to high school. I have 1 or 2 good buddies from when I was a colonel in the U.S. Air Force. The ego in me says there's no way I'm going to connect my high school buddies with those colonels, because those
right,
idiots are going to talk about all the dumb stuff I did in high school, because I'm the only guy that did dumb stuff in high school, right?
right. Right. You're the only one.
Right? I'm
We
the
all
only one on the planet. Yeah. And so that's what our ego says. But the
right,
reality is, whatever you've done in your life, Eric, you're a part of their success story. They're like, I know
right.
this guy, Eric, he does this cool stuff. And I gave him some advice once that helped him get there, whatever. And they
And I'm
know
going
you.
to take your course, by the way. I am going to go in and
Do
log
it,
in and
man.
do it. I
So
really
that's
am.
the thing is you're part of their success story, and they
Right.
only want to continue to see you succeed. So they're not going to talk about that unless you try to go and repeat one of those same dumb mistakes from
Right.
the past. They'll
Right.
remind
If
you,
they're
hey, dude.
truly your friend, like you're saying, and they are in part of you, they're gonna love to talk to each other because you are, like you said, you're part of that becoming who you are. We all became a man, well, because we're guys here on the show, right? We all became a man for somebody we looked up to, somebody
Yeah.
that provided something for us more than somebody else.
Yeah.
We're running tight on time here. I want to ask you 2 more things. One very important, then we're going to close it out when you give information on your show. You know somebody that's a ninja.
Yeah, my daughter, 2 of my daughters are ninja warriors for the American Ninja Warrior sport.
Really? You want to talk about that for a minute? I invited you and your daughters back for my other show to talk about the ninjas. You want to tell a little bit? I think that's very impressive.
Yeah, well, I'll use it as a part of the part we didn't get to talk to about how the power of storytelling and why that's so important, right?
Right.
And so
It's an art. That's an art.
it is an art, but when you learn that art, what happens is that secret that you had no longer has power over you. And oh, by the way, whatever was bothering you, you thought you were keeping to yourself, comes out in other ways anyway, right? Alcohol, addiction, anxiety, depression, all the things.
Wow.
So with Ninja, what I love about this sport, man, is my daughters, they just took to it. They started here when we moved here about 2 years ago. And my 8-year-old, right off the bat, she was actually 7 at the time, 6 actually at the time, qualified for the world competition her very first year after
Wow.
only doing the sport for 6 months.
Absolutely amazing. And that again, that's a testament to you as a father, testament to you as a leader. And I think I wanted to circle that in as we were coming down to a close of this show, because that says a lot. It speaks volumes for you and your character and what you're doing. So we're about to come to a hard close. I want you to put out any final information that you want to add. I'll give you like a minute. Throw it out there because you know they're going to hear it, and all the keywords are going to be all over the internet and everywhere. I want them to see and learn about what you're doing.
Hey, man, come to You Matter, where we just teach you how to live a life so full of meaning and connection that you just don't want it to end. We don't talk about suicide prevention. We just show you how to avoid it altogether.
Right. And that's what you said from the beginning. I like it. Bringing it right back.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, bringing everything back to the core, the basics. Stop a problem before it becomes a problem. Think a little bit beyond the fence, and that's key. Quick question. Did you start off as enlisted and work your way as doing officer? You're a Mustang.
I did. I am a Mustang. Yep, 4 years
Right.
enlisted, then got the brain lobotomy and got
Well, Chris, Chris Switch. Thank you so much again, folks. Check out his program. We're gonna have all the information on the show website. You know, is there a phone number or no, or just the website?
Yeah, there's a phone number.
The
And
name
it's on the website.
for the people that might be listening in the car that might need you right now.
All right, the website, YouMatter, youmatter.org.
Okay, and is there a number for them to call if they're
Yeah, that's on the website. Yep.
Okay,
just
cool.
Come on out. Yep.
Yeah, I guess everybody has internet now, so we should assume. Chris, I thank you so much for coming on. Seriously, Switch, and we'll talk, and hopefully we can see you on the other show, The Hostile Zone, on Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, on iHeart, and maybe you know, we can see some moves on. I'm sure. Thank God I'm here, so I don't want her to beat me up.
Well, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. We can show you the power of how that sport ties right into everything we've been talking about.
It really does. It really does. And I really hope we can pull that off and get that together. Again, thanks so much for coming, Chris. I appreciate it. Bravo, Zulu to you, brother. All the way.
Stay awesome.
All right, you too. All right, folks, what can I say? This was a fabulous episode. We kind of went back and forth, but this is such a needed thing. All right. We have veterans struggling all over our country, and you don't even know who some of them are. We have wonderful people like Chris here who are doing amazing things and making a difference, and that's all you can ask from a human being, is to make a difference. And what is the takeaway? The takeaway is, if you save one life and you make somebody rethink a negative thought, then you've made a difference. And clearly Switch has done that. And I implore everybody out there, if you have any extra funds, send some funding. If you have friends, refer. If you can give the information out to other people, if you are still on the active duty, if you are with the VA, reach out to him. If you're with Military One Source, reach out to him. If you're a senator, congressman, whoever's watching, wherever you're from, reach out. This is the future. This is how we combat suicides. Folks, again, final debrief. Come back to us. We're here all the time. Eric A. Cinotti Unplugged, and check us out, Hostile Zone, on Monday nights, iHeart at 7 p.m. Eastern. I thank you very much. Keep your head on a swivel all the time, because danger is always out there, and what just lies beneath the surface may be more dangerous than what's in your face. Folks, thank you again for coming to Eric A. Cinotti Unplugged. As always, God bless America, God bless yourself, and God bless programs like You Matter. Thank you, folks. Have a great night.